Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to learn a very important topic, that is array. So in the very first class we had learned about data types, that what are data types and how many types of data types we have. So in data types we had mainly two categories. First is primitive and second is non-primitive. And in primitive, we learned about int, we learned about float, we learned about character, we learned about boolean, and etc. So these were the primitive data types that we learned in chapter number 1. Now we are going to see non-primitive data types. So these are basically those data types which are derived from either of these data types. And in that topic we learnt that we had array, we had string, and we had class. So these were the non-primitive data types that we saw. Now in this video we will be going to learn about an array. What is an array? So simply the word simple says array means a collection of data. When we keep multiple things together, we generally say that it is array of some particular thing. When number of things are kept in one order, one behind another, then this type of stacking we call it as array. So same is the case in Java language also, that whenever one data type values are kept along each other, then the whole group is called array. So this is the simple definition. What is an array? So array, we can say that it is defined as the name set of elements of similar data type. This is very important, that array can only contain the values of same data type. Let's say for example, if we have to take integer numbers, then 10, 15, 19, 27, and 39. So these are the 5 values of integer type. So these all, when stored under one single variable, then this type of arrangement or this type of storing is called an array. So simply we can say a variable in which we can store more than one data value of same data type, then that type of variable or that type of data type is called an array. There is no such restriction to how many number of data we can store, but while declaring or while creating the array, we need to set the size of the array, that what is the maximum number of values it can store in the array. So if we say that we have created array A whose maximum size is 100, this means that a variable can maximum store 100 data values. Either it can be of integer, either it can be of floating, either it can be of character, or it can be of boolean. Whatever data type is mentioned before this variable, that type of data we can use to store in this variable. So this was the brief introduction about what is array. Now we will see why do we need array. So this is the simple description written here, but I will take you through an example using which we can understand that why do we need an array. So let's say if we have to create a program where we have to calculate percentage of students that are there in one class. On an average, we can say that in one class we have approximately around 40 students. So if we have to calculate the percentage of these 40 students, if we don't use array, then to calculate this percentage of 40 students, we have to make use of 40 variables of percentage which will store the value of percentage of each student. Also, we will have to take separate variables for each and every subject of those 40 students. So let's say if we have 8 subjects, then 8 multiplied by 40, this would be 320 plus this, which is the variable which is to store percentage. So if we add these two, then this would give us 360, and these are the number of variables that we need to use in order to just calculate percentage of the students in a class. So don't you think this is too much for a programmer to use and the program to execute? So in this type of complications, we have to make use of array. For this simple, I will take 8 subjects variable which will have an array of 40 and one variable of percentage array which will store percentage of all 40 students. So these 8 variables which will store subjects marks, and this one variable which will store the percentage of every student. So by making use of array, we will just have to use 9 variables in order to calculate the percentage of the students. You can see the difference, 360 variables against just 9 variables. So when we use array, the complexity of the program reduces. Also, the length of the program reduces. So this is the most basic need of an array. Now, array generally are of two types. First is single dimensional array and second is multi-dimensional array. So when the data are stored in just form of one row this way, then this type of array is called single dimensional array. But if we store the values in rows and columns, then this type of array is called multi-dimensional array. We have already learnt in maths chapter that what is 1D, what is 2D. So similar is the concept in arrays also. Whenever the data are stored in one single line, one single format, then that type of array is called single dimensional. And if we make use of rows and columns, that is two dimensional, then we call that particular array as multi-dimensional array. So this was just a brief about what is array, why do we need array, and what are the types of arrays. In next video, I will be covering how to write an array, what is the memory location, what is the syntax to declare an array, what is the syntax to initialize the value in an array for both single dimensional and multi-dimensional. So please do subscribe to my channel so that you can get the notification about my next video. And if you have any questions related to this topic, then you can ask your queries in comment section. And if you have any other questions that you are not able to solve, then you can send your questions on my mail ID. So that's it for this one. See you in the next one.